What's up, 7th grade? Mr. Agnos here, and today we're going to talk about percentages. And this is very timely because we just finished up with the election, and you guys probably saw percents everywhere, right? And so if we don't have some understanding of what percents are and how they work, then how are we going to be able to understand, what happened in the presidential election? So let's go ahead, take a look at some problems. Remember I said last week, percents, fractions, and decimals all say the same thing, just in a slightly different way. So they're all related. So in this topic right here, we're going to see fractions, we're going to see percents, and we're going to see decimals because some are easier to work with than others depending on the situation. But remember, like 1/2 is the same as 0.5 is the same as 50%. All right, they all say the same thing. They just say it in a different language. So let's take a look at some problems and see what we can do. All right, number one. The first thing I should mention about this assignment is all the percentages we're going to look at are percents over 100%. So you probably heard the expression, maybe you've had a coach say, hey, I need you to give 110%. Well, we're going to take a look at mathematically what that means. Or if we say, hey, a stock is up 300%, right? What does that actually mean? So number one, it says, is 400% of 6 less than 10, greater than 10, but less than 100 or greater than 100. All right. The key part of this question right here is this first part. Is 400% of 6? So we need to figure out what 400% of 6 is. We don't know what it is, and then once we know what it is, then we can answer this question. Every percent problem that you're going to see can be solved using the following equation. All right, let me turn down my sensitivity here. The part is equal to the percent times the whole. All right, we're going to talk about this equation a lot. So what I want you to do is write this on your paper somewhere. The part is equal to the percent times the whole. Now, the key to this, or one of the keys to it, is that when we write the percent here, we're not going to write it as a percent. We're going to write it as a decimal. We're going to write it as a decimal. And so decimals are also known as a standard form. We can work with those. If I say 200%, I have to convert that to a decimal before I can do something with it. So let's look at what we have here. Well, is 400% of 6. The of 6, when it says of 6, that tells me that 6 is the whole, right? We have some portion, we don't know what it is, of 6. So 6 is the whole. So let's go ahead and rewrite this equation. We still don't know what the part is, right? So I'm just going to say part is equal to the percent times 6. Okay? We know that the whole is 6. All right, the percent is 400, right? So I need to convert 400% into a decimal. All right, well, let's think about the word percent. It literally means per 100. So when I say 400%, I mean 400 out of 100, right? If 100 is the total, per cent, right? Per cent, like century, or means 100 years. Cent, there's 100 cents in a dollar. I have 400 out of 100. So remember what I told you, fractions are just division problems. So we just need to divide this. What is 400 out of 100? Well, 400 divided by 100 is 4. So 4 is actually in decimal form. I know when we think of a decimal, you think of like 0.237, and that's true, that is a decimal, but 4 is also a decimal, right? It's just what we call standard form. So the 400% in decimal form is equal to 4. Now, this pattern continues. Guess what 500% is in decimal form? Just 5. What about 950%? Well, 950% is 9.5, right? So converting a percent greater than 100% to a decimal is actually pretty easy. Well, in our case, we have to take this 4 right here and plug it in. So I'm going to erase this little percent symbol, and now I'm going to put 4. So, and this will tell us the part. This will tell us what number is 400% of 6. Well, 4 times 6 is just 24. So 4 times 6 is 24. So 24 is 400%. I'll write it over here. 24 is the part, is 400% of 6, right? 24 is 400% of 6. Remember I talked about math being a language. That's what this sentence says. So we know it's 24, and so they want to know, is it less than 10, greater than 10, but less than 100, or greater than 100? Well, 24 is between 10 and 100. So of my answers here, I'm going to go ahead and pick greater than 10, but less than 100. Got it. All right, let's try number 3. A new health drink has 190% of the recommended daily allowance of a certain vitamin. The recommended daily allowance for this vitamin is 40 milligrams. How many milligrams are in the drink? So we need to find 190% of 40 milligrams. So I always start off by writing part is equal to the percent times the whole. All right, this will help you solve every single problem. And then just remember that our percent is going to be written as a decimal. So let's see what we have here. We know the percent, so we're going to plug that in here. The recommended daily allowance for this vitamin is 40 milligrams. So that's the whole, right? That's the whole. We need to find the part. We know what is 190% of, multiplication means of 40, right? And that will tell us the part that we're missing. All right, so obviously we have to convert 192% to a decimal. Well, if you remember what I just told you, right, 100% as a decimal is equal to 1, 200% as a decimal or in decimal form is equal to 2, 300% is equal to 3, right? 380% is equal to 3.8. So in our case, 190% is equal to 1.9. And the way you get that is, remember, we have 190 out of 100. So what is 190 divided by 100? Well, if you simplify this, you'll get 1.9, right? If you actually went ahead and did this division, 190 divided by 100, and you can do that in your calculator, and you'll see that you get 1.9. All right, so let's take our equation here. Let's plug in everything we know. We know that the percent is going to be as decimal 1.9. We know that the whole is 40. So, boy, I'm good at making a mess. The part is equal to 1.9 times 40. And that will tell us how many milligrams of this vitamin are in this drink. I'm going to go ahead and just do it up here. 40 times 1.9. 0 times 9 is 0. 4 times 9 is 36. Plus, put a 0 here. 0 times 1 is 0. 4 times 1 is 4. That is 760. And I have one number behind the decimal, so I have to put one number right here. So 76. So 76 is 190% of 40. All right, so our drink has 76 milligrams. And that makes sense, right? 76 is bigger than 40, which is why it's 190%. All right, I think I have time for one more. Again, I don't think my videos are the best. I'm not the greatest video maker here. You're supposed to have lots of questions when this is over with. So we're going to do one more problem. But make sure when you come to class, if you watch this and you're like, yeah, I kind of get it, but man, I still have a lot of questions. That's what class is for, right? I can't anticipate every question you're going to have, and I can't answer every question there is about percents in a 15-minute video, given that I got 4 minutes and 55 seconds left. All right, number 4, it says on Saturday, Brianne drove 20 miles. On Sunday, she drove 60 miles. The number of miles Brianne drove on Sunday is what percent of the number of miles she drove on Saturday? So we want to know 60 is what percent of 20, right? 60 is what percent of 20? So in this case, what we don't know is the percent. We know the whole. Anytime you see the of, right, like that, we know that the whole is 20. We know the part is 60. So now we need to solve for this percent. So let's go ahead and set it up. I always start by writing part equals the percent times the whole. All right, let's plug in what we got. The part is 60. The percent, I don't know what it is, so I'm going to use P. Okay, I'm going to use P times the whole. And let's think about why this equation makes sense. 20 times some number, right, times the percent is going to equal 60. And again, 60 is bigger than 20. And this whole unit, or this topic, is about percents greater than 100, right? Well, this is a one-step multiplication equation. P times 20 is equal to 60. So if I just divide both sides by 20, right? The opposite of multiplying by 20 is dividing. So I'm going to divide the right-hand side by 20 and the left-hand side by 20. Well, 20 divided by 20, those cancel. And I'm left with just P is equal to 60 divided by 20 is 3. Now, be careful here, right? We have an answer, but it's not the answer. It says the number of miles that Brianna drove on Sunday is blank percent. They want 3 in a percentage form. So in that case, you just take whatever your answer is, multiply it by 100%, right? We have 100% 3 times, so that is 300%. And think about why that makes sense, right? 60 is bigger than 20. So to have a percent greater than 100 makes perfect sense here. And in fact, 60 is exactly 3 times bigger, which is why we're getting this 300%. Go ahead and plug it in. Got it. Okay, you're not supposed to be a wizard at percents after watching this one video. You're probably going to be more confused than anything else. After you're done watching this video, I'm going to do a couple more examples in class, and then please, 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 as you run into problems or have questions, put them in the chat, and we'll go over them in class together. All right, see you guys soon.